Okay, so when you think about the bed training, okay, you've got this area here, and what we've said that we're going to do with our leash is that we would apply pressure with a leash. The dog would get all 4 feet onto the bed. That's a picture that we're looking for. And then at that moment when we see all 4 feet come on, then the pressure ends up going away. Right. And then, we have two behaviors there. The two behaviors are getting on and laying down, right? So then we end up doing what to those behaviors? We end up reinforcing them with petting, by praising, like saying good dog, and then by also giving food to the dog. None of that food is going to exist on the outside, and there's not going to be any petting or praise on the outside of the of the square, right? Okay. Scent work is really no different. But the behavior isn't putting 4 feet on and lying down. The behavior is a deep nose. So in a deep nose, you're looking for the dog to be how? To have its nose all the way to the ground. So just imagine it this way. So now you've got an area like this. So the first thing I'm going to do, wherever these posts are, okay, I'm doing this to kind of help the people that are watching on the camera, but wherever these posts are, you're going to take a survey flag. And that survey flag is going to get staked right down into the ground.
Okay.
So when you see that survey flag, let's say that we planted one right there, and I'm standing here. I don't have a dog with me. The first thing that I'm going to do is, you see how I'm getting ready to jump over there? So I'm going to come and I'm going to take a jump and I'm going to land in this area. So I'm going to put a little air gap between where I'm going to step and where I was. I want to take as big of a jump. And then, just like if I was on the bed, I'm going to put a flag here, a flag there, a flag somewhere over there, and a flag somewhere over here. So that's going to be the boundaries of my scent area. So guess what I'm going to do at that point now? I'm going to begin to stomp in my human scent. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to stomp, stomp, stomp this whole area like I was inside the bed. Okay, so I'm creating virtually the same thing that I do there. Come all the way to my flag, and I make sure that if my flag is there, that I don't go beyond it with a scent, right? So then here I am. So the next thing I do is I come back all the way to the corner, and now I've got my food. And now I'm going to sprinkle the food into the area where I want the dog to scent. So I'm sprinkling, sprinkling, sprinkling. I take a step, I sprinkle some more. I've got a reserve there. So now we virtually have this scented area, and I have flags that are in the corner denoting where the boundaries are, right?
Right.
So now I bring my dog about right here, and I take some food, and I can ask that question, are you ready? And I don't know if y'all have done that yet in the treat toss game, but I ask the dog the question, are you ready? Put scent here, and I throw a little bit of food there. Once I do that, what do I do with the dog? I let them go, and then they come here. What's the food going to tell the dog's nose to do? Go down, behavior. So I lured the behavior, and now when it finds the food, it's smelling the area that I disturbed, and it's eating the food. How was my leash the entire time the dog is doing this? It's loose, totally slack. So I'm watching the dog work the area. Let's just say that the nose is here, and then I see the nose cross over. I'll allow it to cross over. If the dog steps out though, and the nose isn't in the area, then I will put some guiding pressure. When the dog comes back, what happens to my leash? You go slack. So there's the beginning of the shaping of that behavior. It's just like teaching the bed, but the dog does this. And so then I want to keep the dog working for about 5 minutes. So when I throw the food in there, I'm going to have my slack leash. I'm going to stay outside of that area, and then as my dog finishes food in one area, wherever its butt is pointing, I'm going to throw food there. And I'm just going to keep working around the dog, calmly praising the dog for keeping its nose down. And so as I'm watching the dog, I'm throwing food in there, I'm moving around, I'm throwing food in there, and then if I do that for about 30 days, will the dog have differentiated between scent and non-scent? Yes. Because every time they sniff out, will they ever find anything? No. But every time they go back into the scented area, they always will find something.
Okay.
That's it. That's the lesson. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. But
One question I have is checking to make sure that I got, when you first scented the area, did you sprinkle food in the whole thing? Okay, so there's food everywhere and you're tossing in additional food.
I'm tossing in additional food as the dog is wrapping up the food that's right there.
to keep it in there for a certain
Okay.
time.
I want to
period.
keep, because we have to, I want the dog to develop some endurance in this skill.
Yeah.
So I just want a dog to be tracking for 5 minutes or so. There's other techniques, but this is a good one. You could use this one for about 7 to 30 days, but the dog is going to be like, wow, you've taught me the difference between the scent that I'm supposed to be following and the scent that I'm not supposed to, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Because the grass is going to be uniform.
And the
But-
scent just happens to be you.
Well, as you're doing that, scent is coming off of your body.
Right.
And that's what the dog is tracking. Look, it's really more complicated than that, but why don't we make it simple to say anywhere that I've stepped, we know that there's scent there,
Right.
make an association to whatever that may be. Because in the end, what's going to end up happening with the dog is, you'll step in, you're going to lay your scent pad, it'll be tiny, and then at that point you're going to go
And walk away.
and you're going to walk. And as you walk away, there's these little graphs of scent. And so then along the way,
So he can find a second set.
along the way, then you're going to have this, an item. And what does this item have?
Your scent.
Your scent. So as you're walking along, the item goes there, it's inside the footstep. And then that's the next level of training. So then what the dog has to do, so the dog gets here and there's no food anymore because it knows the scent. So the dog does what? Nose goes down, says, okay, I know this leads to reward. The dog sniffs, checks, nothing, checks, nothing, checks, oh, look at that. Look at
Follows the
that.
scent, yeah.
Look at that. And then all of a sudden you've got another trained skill. The dog goes there and says, oh, that's one of the things that they taught me that's really important.
Right.
When I smell this, that means to lay down. The dog lays down, click, food.
Reward. Yeah.
And so now you've connected the scent, but like if the dog starts smelling over here, there's nothing over there. And if the dog comes over here, there's nothing over here. So the dog has this concentration of scent saying, this is the path that I should follow.
Okay, so let's say you set that up and the dog takes a couple steps and then wanders off.
You're moving too fast.
Okay, so what do you do? Just go back to
No,
your big
no, you
square.
can't. Nope, you've already. If you've have you stepped on it? Have you stepped in the area that the dog was already tracking?
Yeah.
You can only move forward. How close should you be to the dog in the beginning? Very. Don't let the dog practice any mistakes. All right, well, we're done for today.